Islam is a topic of much discussion worldwide, with a global community spanning from China to Timbuktu, all the way to California, and everywhere in between. This religion shapes the way of life for a quarter of humanity. But what exactly is Islam? What do Muslims believe? And what is Shakira's law? Let's explore and find out. With approximately 1.8 billion followers, comprising 24% of the Earth's population, Islam stands as the second largest religion on Earth, and indeed, in the entire universe. Muslims form the majority in 49 countries, with diverse locations such as Yemen, Nigeria, Albania, Kazakhstan, and Malaysia. Although Islam originated in modern-day Saudi Arabia some 1,400 years ago, only 20% of today's Muslims are Arabs. Indonesia holds the highest Muslim population, making up around 13% of the world's total, while India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh together account for about 30% of Muslims. While Christianity is named after Christ, Judaism after the tribe of Judah, and Zoroastrianism after the 1998 adventure film The Mask of Zorro featuring Antonio Banderas, Islam derives its name from an action. Islam translates to submission to God, and a Muslim is one who submits to God. The root meaning of Islam signifies peace, safety, and security. The Arabic word for peace, salam, shares the same root with the Hebrew word shalom. Thus, submission to God implies finding peace through following Him. Regardless of language, most Muslims greet each other in Arabic, saying Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be upon you. Islam originated in 7th century Arabia through a man named Muhammad. Before diving into Muhammad's life, it's essential to address the elephant in the room, Sebastian. Sebastian stands in front of the whiteboard, explaining the controversy surrounding drawing Muhammad. Drawing Muhammad remains a contentious and emotionally charged political issue. Notably, the Quran, Islam's holy book, contains no explicit ban on drawing Muhammad. However, the big three Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all have rules against creating images of living beings, which derives from the Torah. While some Muslims and Jews strictly adhere to this rule, Islam continued this tradition to ensure people did not worship images of Muhammad or God, but rather, they prayed directly to God. While some Muslim societies have depicted Muhammad in the past, most Muslims today find disrespectful images offensive. However, respectful representations are usually acceptable, especially in Shia Islam, the second largest branch of Islam. The majority of Muslims disapprove of violence as a response to depictions of Muhammad. To show respect, this silhouette will represent Muhammad instead. Please bear with us, as Sebastian seems to be blocking the view again, our apologies. Muhammad was born in 570 CE in the city of Mecca, Arabia. He grew up as an orphan after his parents' early demise. During that time, the Arabs worshipped numerous gods, and Muhammad's tribe, the Quraysh, guarded the Kaaba in Mecca. This holy site contained numerous idols, and the Quraysh amassed wealth by taxing pilgrims who visited the Kaaba. Deeply religious, Muhammad sought to improve his community, witnessing poverty, injustice, war, and discrimination against women and orphans. The rich oppressed the poor, and religious festivals had become extravagant parties dedicated to idol worship. Instead of participating in such festivals, Muhammad would retreat to a cave every year to pray in solitude. In 610 CE, during one of these cave prayers in the month of Ramadan, Muhammad, now 40 years old, received a visit from the angel Gabriel, or Jibril in Arabic. Jibril informed Muhammad that there was only one God and that he was now God's messenger. From God, Muhammad received revelations, which he recited aloud. His companions documented these revelations, which later became the Quran, the holy book of Islam. Muhammad's teachings were radical in tribal Arabia, advocating equality and an end to harmful practices like killing infant girls. These teachings didn't sit well with the Quraysh, as they feared losing their lucrative income from the Kaaba's pilgrims. The Quraysh grew furious and started to abuse the Muslims, particularly the vulnerable, such as slaves who often faced torture if they converted. Despite the mistreatment, the Muslims refrained from retaliating. Muhammad and his teachings prohibited violence, with the Quran stating that whoever kills a person, it is as if they have killed all of humanity. After enduring a decade of persecution, the Muslims sought refuge in the city of Medina, marking the year 1 on the Islamic calendar in 622 CE. Today, January 2021 CE corresponds to 1442 on the Muslim calendar. Even in Medina, the Quraysh continued to attack the Muslims. So God informed Muhammad that Muslims were allowed to defend themselves in certain situations. However, God established some strict guidelines for fighting. Avoid targeting public places. Do not destroy farms or herds. Refrain from harming women, children, the elderly, or disabled individuals. Do not harm animals, trees, or plants. Be kind to prisoners and do not forcibly convert anyone. These rules of war were set to prevent harm to civilians. Muhammad emphasized the importance of compassion, stating, "If someone shows no compassion, God will show no compassion to him." Muslim 30:57-37. In 630, Muhammad led an army of 10,000 and marched on Mecca. The city surrendered without a battle. Muhammad immediately proceeded to the Kaaba, where he destroyed the numerous idols, dedicating the site solely to God. 2 years later, most of Arabia had embraced Islam, and the region was united under Muhammad's leadership. Tragically, on June 8, 632, Muhammad passed away. Following Muhammad's death, Abu Bakr, his father-in-law, was chosen as the first Khalifa, or successor. This event led to the division between Sunni and Shia, the two major branches of Islam. Sunni Muslims believed that Abu Bakr was rightfully elected, while Shia Muslims believed that Muhammad appointed his son-in-law, Ali, as his successor. Currently, Sunni Muslims comprise 80 to 90% of the global Muslim population, while Shia Muslims constitute approximately 13%. Over the next 1,400 years, Islam spread through empires and trade, spanning across the Middle East, Africa, Central and South Asia, and China. It reached Europe, particularly the Balkans and Spain, and was brought to Southeast Asia by merchants. Slaves also carried Islam with them to the Americas. Now, let's delve into the core beliefs of Islam. Belief in one God. Muslims, Christians, and Jews worship the same God, with Muslims referring to him as Allah, the Arabic word for God. Muslims believe in an uncreated, all-knowing, all-powerful, merciful, loving, and genderless creator of the universe. Islam emphasizes that there is only one God, and worshiping or believing in anything else, such as idols, money, or power, is a grave sin. In Islam, there are no priests, as Muslims are encouraged to establish a direct personal connection with God. The Quran states that God created the world in 6 days and that Adam and Eve were created from the same clay, with humanity originating from a single soul. Belief in the divine books and prophets. According to Muhammad, Islam is not a new religion but rather the original faith of humanity. He saw himself as a prophet tasked with reminding people of the one God and guiding them back to the right path. Islam accepts and recognizes the prophets of Judaism and Christianity, including Abraham, Moses, Noah, and Jesus, who are mentioned alongside Muhammad in the Quran. All prophets brought a similar message, a call for peace, worshiping only God, and warning about the Day of Judgment. Muslims also acknowledge the Jewish Torah and Christian Gospel as divine books sent by God. While Islam considers Muhammad as the final prophet and the Quran as the last divine book. Belief in the Day of Judgment. Islam believes that the universe has an expiration date. The Day of Judgment will occur at some point in the future, where all beings who ever lived will be resurrected, and their actions in life will be judged. Each individual will be held accountable for their deeds. After the resurrection, everyone will cross a bridge over the fire of hell, leading to the entrance of heaven. The bridge will be easy to cross for those with more good deeds than bad. However, sinners will face a sharp and difficult bridge that leads them to hell. Hell is described as a place of fire, torture, and misery, while heaven is a beautiful garden with rivers of milk and honey, where everyone is young, healthy, and reunited with their family. Asterisk the Quran. The Quran is Islam's holy book, meaning recitation or saying. Muslims believe it to be the word of God, revealed through Muhammad in Arabic. The Quran contains approximately 600 pages divided into 114 chapters or surahs. Each surah is made up of numbered verses or ayat. The Quran lacks a narrative structure and is organized based on verse length, with longer verses placed at the beginning and shorter ones towards the end. Muslims recite the Quran aloud, and many memorize its entirety. Alongside the Quran, Hadith, the sayings and actions of Muhammad play a significant role in Islam. Hadith provide guidance on how to be a good Muslim and offer additional insight not present in the Quran. Hadith were transmitted orally before being written down, and their reliability varies based on the trustworthiness of the transmitter's chain. Asterisk the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5 pillars serve as the fundamental practices and beliefs that guide a Muslim's behavior. A. The Shahada. It is a simple declaration of faith, stating, "There is no God but God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God." This brief statement makes an individual a Muslim. B. Salat. Muslims pray 5 times a day, facing Mecca, and must perform wudu, ritual washing, before each prayer. The prayers involve reciting verses in Arabic while engaging in specific physical movements. C. Zakat. Zakat is a charitable tax on wealth, and Muslims pay 2.5% of their current wealth annually. The Quran instructs that this money should be given willingly to support relatives, orphans, the needy, travelers, beggars, and to free slaves. D. Psalm. During the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, abstaining from eating, drinking, and smoking. Pregnant women, the sick, and disabled individuals are exempt from fasting, and women on their periods can delay their fasts. E. Hajj. The Hajj is a pilgrimage to the Kaaba in Mecca, the holiest place in Islam. Every Muslim who is physically and financially able must undertake this pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime. The Hajj is a unifying experience where all pilgrims, regardless of their wealth or nationality, stand together before God. Next, let's explore the role of women in Islam and the significance of veiling. Islam's stance on women and the practice of veiling have become topical issues. Veiling practices vary among Muslim communities. Asterisk the hijab is the most common veil, while the burqa and niqab are more prevalent in conservative communities, especially in Afghanistan. The chador is commonly found in Iran. Asterisk not all Muslim women wear veils, and some Muslim-majority countries have either banned all headscarves or put pressure on women to wear them, causing controversy within Islam. The reasons behind veiling can be cultural, with the veil being a part of many people's identity. Modesty is also a central aspect preached by Islam, and veiling aligns with this principle. Muslims are advised to maintain modesty in their behavior, words, emotions, desires, and even in their dietary habits. Both men and women are encouraged to wear loose-fitting clothing that covers a significant portion of their bodies. The Quran does not make any distinctions between how men and women should dress, nor does it mandate that women must cover their faces. The practice of veiling seems to have originated from early Muslim culture and may have been influenced by interactions with Roman neighbors. The only reference to women covering their faces in the Quran pertains specifically to Muhammad's wives, and most Muslims believe it applies only to them. Throughout the Quran, God condemns the notion that women are inferior to men, 16:57-59, and consistently emphasizes the need for equal treatment of women, 2:228, 231, 419. Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, was a strong advocate of women's education, affirming that those who provide their daughters with a good education will be rewarded in the afterlife. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. The Quran also guarantees women's rights in various aspects of life, such as the right to work, the right to divorce, and the right to own property. Regarding halal practices, the term halal simply means permissible in Arabic. If something is considered halal, Muslims can engage in it without fear of committing a sin. Generally, most foods are considered halal, with the exception of pork, donkey meat, predatory animals, example, lions, wolves, cats, dogs, birds of prey, eels, lizards, mice, rats, and monkeys. Consumption of blood and alcohol is also prohibited, with alcohol having negative effects on health and society, which led to its prohibition. For meat to be considered halal, certain criteria must be met. The animal must not suffer, and its neck should be swiftly cut at the throat while invoking God's name, ensuring a quick and painless death. The animal should not witness previous slaughter, nor should it see the blade before the act, to prevent any fear or distress. Islam strictly prohibits animal cruelty, and Muhammad himself emphasized kindness and compassion towards animals, stating that good deeds done to animals are just as meritorious as those done to humans, while cruelty towards animals is as deplorable as cruelty towards humans. Sharia law, often a topic of debate and controversy, refers to the comprehensive guidance for Muslims to live their lives in accordance with God's will, bringing order to society and paving the way for entry into heaven. While the term Sharia law is commonly used, it is essential to understand that Sharia encompasses more than just legal aspects. It also covers personal matters and contractual agreements between individuals, such as prayer, fasting, neighborly behavior, honesty, and marriage and divorce regulations. The Quran does not contain an extensive legal code, but Muslim societies desired laws influenced by Sharia. To achieve this, Muslim scholars interpreted the Quran's message and used hadith, sayings and actions of Muhammad, and rational reasoning to create Islamic law, known as fiqh. However, it's crucial to recognize that fiqh is not fixed and can evolve over time due to its human-based nature. Different Muslim communities worldwide have diverse interpretations of Sharia, leading to varying fiqh based on these interpretations. While some groups may claim to implement Sharia in their actions, their practices are not universally accepted, and many Muslims do not consider their actions to be in line with true Sharia principles. Sharia can be applied to champion justice and equality, as seen in organizations like Musawa, which advocates for gender equality using Sharia principles. The dynamic nature of Sharia allows for continuous learning, growth, and adaptation to changing circumstances. Today, access to knowledge and learning has become more accessible than ever with platforms like Nebula, an educational platform created by Cogito and other creators, partnered with CuriosityStream. Nebula offers ad-free and early access to educational content, allowing creators to explore new and exclusive material without the constraints of mainstream platforms like YouTube. CuriosityStream, a champion of high-quality documentaries, joins forces with educational creators to offer a 41% discount on their annual subscription, including free access to Nebula. The platform features content from renowned creators like Tom Scott, Real Engineering, and Lindsay Ellis, alongside esteemed figures like David Attenborough and Stephen Hawking. In conclusion, these texts provide an overview of some aspects of Islam, but they barely scratch the surface of the religion's complexities and depth. Religions, including Islam, encompass diverse beliefs and meanings to different individuals. Understanding and appreciating the intricacies of religions requires a comprehensive and open-minded exploration.